Hi everybody. This is a review after 3 years of riding what I think is one of the best motorcycles ever produced by any company anywhere. The CBR1100XX Super Blackbird by Honda. Now, I'm not going to regurgitate a lot of the specs and everything because they're on the web all over the place. What I'm going to try to do is give you my riding impressions of it, the bike's strengths and weaknesses, and generally some perspective on it. Just to start off with a little bit of background about me, I've been riding about 15 years, a couple years off there where I was bikeless. We won't talk about that dark period. Wasn't a result of an accident though, I assure you. But I've more or less been riding at least for about 13 of those 15. I've had 10 bikes. This is my 10th. And like a lot of riders, you know, I look around and get itchy and think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to try that for a while? And then I look at it, and then I look at it this way and that way, and the pluses and minuses. And then I go for a ride on the Blackbird, and I'm kind of like, what was I thinking? That's silly. Eventually, of course, I will move on from this bike, but I've had it for 3 years now. I've done about 15,000 kilometers, 10,000 miles to my American friends. And I got to tell you, it is just such a package. There's not enough videos on the web about this bike, I found. There's lots for other bikes, but not so many for the Blackbird, although that's probably owing to the fact it's been out of production for a little while. And you know, it's just not as big as some other bikes, perhaps. Although huge in Europe and the UK, as viewers of this over there can attest, relatively, anyway, to North America. Anyway, enough of that. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've always had sport touring type of bikes, you know, a couple Bandits. I had a Katana 750, in the UK GSX 750F. Suzuki, and had a couple GPZ 500s or Ninja 500s, and a VFR. That was probably the closest in terms of feel and technology to this, although the motor is wildly different. But I got to tell you, none of them are really in the same league as this. The VFR, very, very good bike. They're all good bikes. The Bandits are fantastic. You know, even the old Katana there, you know, has its virtues. But this bike is just incredible. And because they haven't been in production for a while, you can find them relatively inexpensively. I mean, I'm here in Canada. I bought this for 3,000 Canadian dollars with 82,000 kilometers on it a few years ago. And I've done a few add-ons to it, but anyway you look at it, I mean, that's just dirt cheap. So let me just, right from the beginning, get out of the way the things that are drawbacks about this bike. Insurance, I don't even have to point to this one because it's not physically on the bike, but insurance is a little higher with this bike. You know, what do you expect? It's 1100 cc's, and you know, it was the fastest production bike in the world for a period of about 12 months, and you know, until eclipsed by the Hayabusa. And you know, either way, Hayabusa or not, 175 miles per hour, you know, at top speed gives insurers quite a fright. So it has recently gotten moderated a little bit. I'm paying in a very expensive jurisdiction, 1,200 Canadian dollars for liability and for select perils, fire and theft, basically. And so that's not terrible for where I live. It's not great given how long I've been riding, experienced rider and what have you, accident-free, clean record, but it's not horrible. And you know, I think of it just as the Blackbird premium. You know, I could maybe go to something a little bit smaller displacement, save $200 or $300, but my God, the enjoyment on this bike is just unparalleled. So insurance is a little high, even with a clean record. But the tangible things I'll point to that are not so great are the mirrors Now again, this is a function of Honda engineers, wanting this bike to be the top speed king back in 1997 when it initially came out. They were not that great, so the mirror's not that wide for aerodynamic reasons. So basically, in stock form, half of it was covered by my elbows, and really no adjustability to speak of. So I've got these. They're from SW Motec, this German outfit that seems to make a lot of pretty good stuff. Scandalously expensive for 2 pieces of plastic, but $100. What can you do? But they do actually improve the field of view behind quite a bit. Instead of half covered by my elbows, is maybe now only a quarter. And safety counts. Every bit of visibility you can get helps. That was quote unquote not so great coming out of the tin. What else? Yeah, that's about it. I gotta tell you, the stock seat, everybody complains about stock seats. For short runs, not so bad. I have found, and I'm 51 years old now, and maybe that's part of it, and I could use with a few less desserts. My butt gets kind of sore after an all day out touring. So I'm trying this beaded seat thing. I know some of these hardcore iron butt guys, they don't go for fancy anything, they just go for the beads. So hey, $30, give it a shot, see if it works before I pop big for some kind of a aftermarket seat, or even the Airhawk pad at $200. This is a cheap experiment. So far it seems to be okay. So the seat's not great, but that's true of most bikes. So let me now just go through it point by point. First of all, handling. Okay, I've got a 99, by the way. This is the first year of fuel injection, and the first year for their larger 24-liter tank, which gives you really good range when touring, and active ram air. Those inlets, they are real, and they pour air into the engine. I think they only activate at higher speeds. I can't remember. Look it up. Do your geeky web searching stuff. But anyway, the fuel injection is great. The handling on this bike is tremendous. The shocks are virtually totally unadjustable. The rear is a little bit adjustable, front completely not. But Honda just got it right on this bike. It handles really well. It's a little porkier than Super Sport for sure, but still fairly light. And it's just great. It's got a low center of gravity, tips in really easy. I'm not the most aggressive rider in the world, but I have nothing but total confidence when riding around on this bird. It's just a great bike, handles really well. And bump covering too, which is, in a big urban market where the roads are just battered to hell, it really helps. Sophisticated ride, just like the entire bike, sophisticated. Power. Well, 3 words. Oh my God. I mean, it's just unbelievable. This thing pulls everywhere, and it keeps going. It's religious experience level power. It's incredible. 6 gears. It's just a freight train, and it's got like 80 foot-pounds of torque or thereabouts. So you can ride it like a pussycat too. I think the quote for this bike that I saw in a British magazine was totally sophisticated and utterly insane in a neat and tidy Honda package, or something along that line. That's what this bike is like. It's very refined, very polished. You can dawdle around town, handle heavy traffic with it very well. It slips in and out of cars. You can filter on it fine, and just go to the grocery store and pick a few things up, no problem. Or you can go utterly bananas and scare yourself, soil your underwear. 300 kilometers on the clock, and it's a completely believable 300 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles, but whatever that's getting up to, 160, 170. It's mental. It's absolutely mental, but it doesn't have to be ridden that way, and it's a real pleasure just to have a good time on it. I'm set up so that's power, that's handling. Brakes. Brakes are very good on this. The first thing I'll say is I've changed the pads both front and back, And I really like the Honda OEM pads. I had some EBCs in on the front, and they were good, but the Honda OEM pads just maybe a little softer. They might not give me as much life, but the feel's better, and they just seem to grip a little better. Back, good too. Now this is the combined link braking system, the dual CBS as Honda calls it, and this is on, you know, the ST1100, it's on the VFR, it's on all that. This bike being a 99, this came out before ABS, but I believe, and I can't cite any tests to back this up, but I think CBS helps you not lock up by, you know, having some braking on the front and some on the back when you pull the front lever, and when you step on the rear brake, a little bit of it being transferred to the front. I think it just lends to stability, and I think it'd be very tough to lock this bike up. I really do. Not impossible, because it doesn't have anti-lock, but it's you know, it's really good. Nice predictable braking. Could be a little stronger. You know, I've ridden a couple ST1300s, and although that's a 150 pounds heavier bike at least, the brakes seem stronger on that. So that's really just got incredible brakes, the ST1300. But this has very good brakes. I will say very good. Very easy to modulate. Nice. So power brakes, handling. Let's talk about comfort. One of the things that I did on this bike, and I initially thought, wow, what a waste of money buying these. You know, I guess it worked out to about 500 bucks. They weren't cheap. But I got VFR 800 clip-ons to replace the clip-ons that were stock. Best modification I've made. It was just a tremendous difference in comfort. I just love this bike now. Probably 50% improvement in comfort or more, and only by rising an inch up and maybe an inch back, something like that. It's not dramatic, but they look stock. They just look well integrated. They don't look like some aftermarket stuff. But whether you get Healy bars or Heli bars, whatever they're called, aftermarket, or you get these from the VTEC series, you gotta be careful here, the VTEC series of VFR, the 2002 to 2009, whatever it was, that series from the VFR 800, they will go right on, and your cables will be stretched some, but they will work. They will just work. So I did that, did heated grips, and I got a zero gravity sport touring windshield. I also got the double bubble, tried that, but it didn't really give me as much wind protection as I wanted. So I sprung another $100 and got the sport touring version in light smoke, and it's great. Didn't notice so much of a change at first, but you know, after riding for a full day, you can definitely feel you're in a little bit more of a pocket, and that's nice. As I said, big tank, not so great in the city on fuel, on fuel economy. I mean, this is a big motor. You like to rev it, it tempts you, but when you're going on a tour of any length, whether it be just you know, a nice long day ride, or you're out there for a few days, this tank being nice and big is not bad at all. I can get 350 kilometers no problem on this. I guess that translates into a bit over 200 miles. Probably I could push 400, but I would really be tempting fate there, running out. It's great. The motor on this thing, aside, I talked about it being strong, it's also extraordinarily smooth. Extraordinarily smooth. It is just a peach. This thing is smooth and powerful everywhere, and it just sounds great. And now I've got a full, and I bought it this way, I've got a full Yoshimura exhaust system. So that's not just the slip-on, that's all the way up to the headers. And I think it's the RS3 can. I ran it initially as the prior owner had it set up without the silencer, and it didn't sound good. It was loud, it was kind of, I don't know, it didn't sound as good. I dropped the silencer in, and yeah, it brought down the noise a little bit. Always good for the neighbors, but more to the point, it just felt like it was running smoother. So I would recommend the DB Killer silencer in. what else can I tell you about this bike? It's just, if you find one at a good price, just buy it. Just buy it. You will not be disappointed. If you like sport touring, this is a great around town bike. This is such a good all-rounder. And I know a lot of bikes say that. And you might think, oh, 175-mile-an-hour missile, isn't that a bit of overkill for being an all-rounder or going to the store and picking up some milk? Well, yeah, but again, you don't have to tap into that. It's just a great, comfortable bike, and so sure-footed in the handling. You're gonna love it. There's just almost nothing I can say that is not great about this motorcycle. I guess the most stunning thing is, and I'll stop. Oh, one other thing I want to point out. The headlight on this thing is tremendous. I don't think there's an aftermarket bulb in there. I haven't changed it, but this thing lights up the road ahead of you like there's been a nuclear weapon that's gone off ahead of you. I mean, it is like day and night. It's incredible. And I've been in, Pennsylvania mountains where it's pitch black, and with even the low beams on, I see deer eyes reflecting back at me from, like, I don't know the exact distance, a couple hundred yards, no problem. So it's just great in the headlight department. Great handling, really nice comfort. The gauges are, old school. And now they changed somewhat and got digitized in '03. But for a '99, yep, it's all analog all the time, baby. And nothing wrong with that. They all work well. The last thing I will say about this, and I'll start it up, is that, what's so impressive about this motorcycle is that, we're going on 17 years now. It's 2016, this is 1999, and, almost 20 years, because the 99 was just a makeover of the original 97. Just tremendous. I mean, I look around out there, no, this doesn't have ABS. No, this doesn't have traction control. No, this doesn't have electronic suspension. But you know what? I mean, do you need that? ABS would be nice. I agree there's a bit of a safety edge there, possibly. But again, the link brakes help, and all that other stuff, I don't know. This is just such a package. Honda was way ahead of the time with this bike. It is just, I think this has got to be, and no word of hyperbole here, I think this is one of the top 10 motorcycles ever built. And I could probably narrow that, but I don't want to push my luck with everybody who loves their bikes. It is just that good. Again, I say I'll eventually move on, but that eventually might be quite a while. I put a GV back box on mine, and I've wired it up fully for lights. So I've got the add more lighting kit. So I got a lot in this, a lot of money in this back box, but it's color matched exactly, and it's brilliant. Let me just start it up. So this is from Dead Cold. I haven't started this up in about a week, actually. I've been real busy. So let's get it into neutral. It's going to take a little while to find itself, but it will find itself. And the Blackbird is more than the sum of its parts. That's one thing I'll say. In many regards, the engine is nothing spectacular, nothing, some wild, unheard of before innovation. It's a straight 4, 1137cc, I think that's the exact number. It's, liquid cooled. It's got 2 counterbalancers, that helps with the smoothness. 4 valves per cylinder, all the normal stuff. So it's not like some wild rotary engine or something. It's just done so well and with so much power. I don't know what it is. I think maybe I just want to give a shout out to these tires here for a second too. I got Metzler Roadtech Z8s. And they've been tremendous. I'm going to, when I change, I'm going to need the back changed fairly soon. When I change it, I'm going to stick with it. I've had great experience with them. Wear has been very good. They're starting to square off some now at the back, but road holding's great, and the wear has been really good for such a torquey bike. The chain adjustments and everything are fairly easy. I've done it myself a couple times, but I think the chain's well stretched, so it hasn't been changing that much. What else can I tell you? Anyway, like I said, Blackbird, baby, you will not be disappointed with a Blackbird. I can't imagine what kind of riding someone does that's actually on asphalt where they couldn't appreciate this. If the riding position's too far over for you, yeah, it's not going to be your bike. But if you go to cycleergos.com and you put in a customization of an inch up and an inch back, you'll see this bike lines up pretty close to VFR ergonomics. And, you know, the VFR is regarded as a very comfortable and sporty bike, you know, for something that leans somewhat forward, but not crazy. And I just find that this bike really distributes the weight really well. Again, my butt is the biggest sore point now, and maybe the beads will help it. You know, you might think they look terrible and it might not be for you. Okay, get an air hawk or an aftermarket seat. I'll rev it a little bit here. Let me show you the Admore kit. This is pretty cool. Okay, put on the brakes. Oh, yeah. All right. A little bit extra LED action. Keep you safe. And here's the signal light. Yeah, can't hurt. There's so many drivers out there that are absolutely in a coma. You know, you practically need fireworks to go off behind you in order to get their attention. But every little bit helps. Yeah, and running lights. It's nice. It looks good. Looks better, obviously, not in the bright sunshine. But anyway, it's all right. I don't want to make you seasick there. That's it. My particular bike's got a few war wounds on it, nothing too serious, and I expect many, many miles to come. Oh, the mileage, 96,000 kilometers, or about 60,000 miles, and yep, looking forward to many, many more. These things are running around Europe with over 200 on them, so this thing's built to last. It's a tremendous motorcycle. Blackbird forever, baby. Thanks for watching. Bye.